There you go.
What's this? Wow, people downtown sure are friendly.
Good day and good night. Welcome back to the High and Low Retrospective. Woo! The place where we rewind the reels and look back at the shows that knew more than they let on. We remember childhood in a certain way. Sunny, funny, safe. That's usually the version that sticks. But childhood, when you're actually living it, doesn't always feel like that. Sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes you're surrounded by people and still trying to figure out what's going on. And if you grew up in the 90s, what we now call the millennial childhood, you probably remember pieces of that feeling, even if time has softened the edges. Most shows didn't stay there very long, but one show did. This one's about Hey Arnold and how it showed us childhood in the margins, the parts we don't always remember, but somehow still recognize.
Just keep away from my stoop.
Hey, Mark!
Oh, sorry, Arnold. I forgot you were in there.
Hey Arnold premiered on Nickelodeon in 1996 during a period when the network was defining a new kind of animation. Shows that spoke directly to kids but never talked down to them. Rugrats turned animation into adventure. Doug leaned into awkwardness and inner thoughts. Ren and Stimpy pushed everything into chaos. Created by Craig Bartlett, Hey Arnold followed Arnold, a quiet, thoughtful fourth grader with a football-shaped head, living with his grandparents in a boarding house in a dense, unnamed city.
When I designed Arnold in the first place, I was really trying to make him stand out. I always remember what Matt Groening told me. He said, you should try to make them so that they work in silhouette or really small on the screen.
And he wasn't alone. There was Helga, loud, aggressive, and secretly vulnerable. There was Gerald, his best friend, loyal, confident, a storyteller in his own right, and a rotating cast of kids and adults who all felt like they had lives that existed beyond the screen. Even the voices carried weight. Arnold was voiced by Lane Turan in early seasons, later Philip Van Dyke, giving the character a grounded, almost introspective tone. Helga, voiced by Francesca Smith, delivered one of the most layered performances in any animated show of that era. And even when other Nickelodeon shows slowed down, they still felt heightened. Hey Arnold came in quieter. The pace felt different, the spaces felt different, the jokes didn't always drive the steam. You were watching something that felt close. Something that wasn't exaggerated for the consumption of a young audience.
Quiet down. It wasn't that funny. Well, it was pretty funny, but we shouldn't laugh at Gerald's expense.
Before the series, Arnold had already been on television. Craig Bartlett introduced him through claymation shorts on Sesame Street in the early 90s. Those early versions were small, observational, and quiet. Arnold moved through simple situations without much spectacle, and that rhythm carried over. When the show expanded into a full series, the world got bigger, but it didn't get louder. Scenes take their time. Moments land and stay there for a second. Bartlett built the show around texture, brick buildings, narrow hallways, corner stores, the feeling of passing people who already had lives before the episode began. He's mentioned drawing from cities like Seattle, Portland, and Brooklyn. You can see that mix in the design.
Arnold City is based on where I grew up in Seattle and also where I went to art school in Portland, but it's also based on Brooklyn with all the stoops and the brownstones. So it's really a kind of a collage of several northern cities.
But more importantly, you can feel it in the atmosphere. See, the story happens inside the setting. It doesn't wait for it.
Grandma, do you have a driver's license?
Okay, let me set the table a bit, just in case it's been a while or you've never seen the show. Arnold lives in the Sunset Arms boarding house at 4040 Vine Street, run by his grandparents Phil and Gertie. It's always full. People coming and going, conversations in the background, doors opening and closing. It feels lived in from the start. Arnold's room sits at the top of the house, skylight overhead, couch in the corner. It's where problems get talked through or sometimes just left alone. Outside, the world opens up. I mentioned Gerald before. He's steady, confident, always right there with him. Helga pushes in the opposite direction, loud, direct, impossible to ignore, and the rest of the neighborhood fills in around him. Stoops, Basketball courts, corner stores, teachers who feel like they exist outside the classroom, even the adults carry weight. Mr. Hune keeps to himself early on. Oscar is always chasing something that doesn't quite work out. Susie is usually the one holding things together. You spend enough time there and it starts to feel familiar. It starts to feel like an actual place.
I don't want to go, Grandpa. I want to stay here with my family.
Family? What family?
This family.
Oh, that's not a family, Arnold. That's a bunch of lunatics that can't agree on one blasted thing.
After a while, a pattern starts to show up. It's not in the big episodes, it's in the space around them. Arnold and Gerald walking home when it's getting dark, sitting on the steps with nothing really happening, talking about something small that feels important for a moment. The show stays there longer than you expect. That kind of space doesn't usually get much attention. Most stories move from one event to the next. But childhood, especially the version a lot of millennials and Gen Xers experienced, it wasn't built that way. A lot of it was waiting, watching, trying to understand people you didn't have context for yet. You'd pick up on things without knowing what they meant. Conversation you weren't part of, a shift in someone's tone, a feeling you couldn't explain. The show doesn't interrupt those moments. It leaves them where they are. Over time, that adds up. You're not just watching a story, you're watching something that feels closer to how childhood actually unfolds. Messy, uneven, and not always easy to describe.
See, Eugene? I told you this was going to be a perfect party. Nothing bad happened.
There's an episode people tend to remember once you mention it. Arnold's Christmas. Mr. Hune finally tells his story. During the fall of Saigon, he put his daughter on a helicopter so she could finally leave Vietnam. He stayed behind, and she left. And that's it. No build-up, no extended payoff. He just tells you what happened. Helga carries something similar, just closer to the surface. Episodes like Helga on the couch slow everything down and show you where she comes from. A father who barely notices her, a home that feels distant even when everyone's in the same room. And after that, her behavior doesn't land the same way. You still see the joke, but you also see what's underneath it. The show keeps doing this. Small, specific moments that shift how you see the characters. Then it moves on. No big reset. As a kid, you feel it without fully understanding it. Coming back to it now, the pattern's easier to see.
You haven't asked to be excused, Helga.
Can I be excused, Mom?
Yeah, whatever.
Hey Arnold ran from 1996 to 2004. Didn't end with a big finale. The story just stopped. There were plans to continue it, especially to resolve what happened to Arnold's parents, but those didn't materialize at the time. That part of the story sat unresolved for years. In 2017, Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, finally picked that thread back up and gave the series a more complete ending. Watching the show now, it lands differently. You notice more of what's sitting in the background. The adults, the pauses, the moments that didn't resolve cleanly, and it feels familiar in a different way. Because as adults, we tend to remember childhood as something simpler than it was. We keep the highlights, we smooth out the rest. Hey Arnold held on to those quieter parts, and that's what still connects. So that's the High and Low retrospective on Hey Arnold, a show that didn't just give you childhood as a memory, but as something you were moving through. The laughter is still there, but so are the pauses, the uncertainty, the feeling that something mattered even if you didn't have the words for it yet. And maybe that's why it still holds up, I don't know, because Hey Arnold didn't shape childhood into something easier to remember, it left it the way it was. Thanks for watching this one. Thanks for liking and commenting and subscribing. Be sure to click the bell so you don't miss more deep dives into the shows, the movies, the moments that shaped us, and the ones that understood us a little too well. Until next time, stay critical, stay nostalgic, and remember.
You did it! You did it!
Hey, yeah, I did do it. I left the stoop. I'm free.